I hope you don't think less of me because I am such an idiot about my own health. And I talk so much about what to do with yours. I, like everyone, need to take my own advice more. I'm Anne-Marie McQueen, journalist and proud 50-ish woman, and we are here looking for the true truth in perimenopause, menopause, midlife, and beyond.
Opening our minds to other possibilities is not always easy.
Hot Flash Inc.
You're all woman to me. All right, Amber.
Has your doctor told you that you're too young for perimenopause? You just don't feel like yourself? You are not alone. Perimenopause can start earlier than you think. That's why Menolabs is here, to support you with a range of products and the information you need to confidently speak up and get the care you deserve. They also offer science-backed products like their bestseller, MenoFit, a probiotic designed to help relieve symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats and more, all while supporting your overall health and wellness. Don't settle for less. Visit Menolabs and get the support you need today. Right now, they're offering our Hot Flash Inc. listeners 20% off using code HOTFLASH20 at menolabs.com. Now for the small print, this statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome to the Hot Flash Inc. podcast. I'm your host, founder of Hot Flash Inc., Anne-Marie McQueen. Thank you for listening. I haven't done a solo episode for a really long time. I've wanted to. I've been having a hard time lately. Some life thing squeezed me and I lost my sense of myself, as is the case often in life because nothing goes straight up and nothing is always the same. So I lost a little bit of confidence. And then I just thought, it is my podcast and I do talking. So here we are. And I think I'll probably record two. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I've experienced, but I've also at the same time noticed my friends are experiencing it. And I've wanted to talk to you about this for a long time, which is supplements. I'm Gen X, I'm 55. When we were young, I don't remember anyone in my house having a supplement. I don't remember my parents taking them. And my first memory of supplements really is around maybe my early 30s. That's literally the first time I can remember taking a supplement. I know people used to take greens, and I'm a big one for if I'm going to add something into my budget, I want to be able to sustain it. People would start taking these greens, and I'd be like, I cannot afford that every month for the rest of my life or whatever. But my brother did say to me that he had a great supplement that he was taking that was helping him, I don't know, lose weight and work out. And so I thought, great, because in my early 30s, I was just as obsessed as I always was with being skinny. And I look back and I was very thin, but I guess it wasn't enough. So the supplement is called Zenadrine. I had to look it up because I was like, what was that supplement? I asked ChatGPT, what was that supplement everyone took in the late 90s and early 2000s? And it's Ephedra. And it was also known as Ma Huang. I don't know. MA space HUANG. So it was a plant-based supplement containing ephedrine alkaloids. It worked by stimulating the nervous system, increased metabolism, and suppressed appetite. It was often combined with caffeine and aspirin, which was known as the ECA stack. And it was used in a lot of fat-burning and energy-boosting products marketed for rapid weight loss and enhanced athletic performance. So my brother he tells me about this. I toddle off to the supplement store, and I have no memory of being to a supplement store or wherever I bought it before this. This is my first memory of anything to do with supplements. And it was something like $85 is sticking in my brain because I think at the time I was like, that is so expensive. And we're talking about like 2002 or three, right? This is $85 for a bottle of supplements and was really expensive. It's really expensive now. I swear that would be like a $250 supplement. But I took it, and in short order, maybe the next day or the day after, I was sitting at my desk at the Ottawa Sun, the newspaper I was working at, and I felt like I was levitating off of the chair. I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing. I just had so much energy in my body. I felt so incredibly uncomfortable. I think I took it for a couple more days. I asked my brother. No, he didn't have any of it. And I stopped taking it. I don't know if I researched it. How did you even find information then? Like, how did you even, I don't even remember. I was a reporter. I don't remember what I did. I called people. We had the internet. Sure. But I remember that I was so pissed off because I'd paid 85 or $90 for this bottle that I took it back. I marched right in there and I said, this is a terrible, terrible thing. And it made me feel all these ways. And I think this is really funny because it's interesting when you think back to the way you were in certain situations. But the guy who'd sold it to me, it was the same guy, and he said, no one has ever come back here and said that. And I said, I'm saying it. And I did something that I had learned when I was buying a car, or I had read in an article about negotiations where you just sit there quietly and then the person has to do what you want them to do because they can't stand the silence. Anyway, he gave me the money back. He was so mad when someone like opens the cash register and they're banging, and then he gave it back to me and I was like, woohoo, no more Ephedra for me. No more Xenadrine. So I looked it up. Why did it fall out of favor? Linked to serious health risks, including high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, and seizures. What do you think was going on in my body? There were high profile cases of deaths, including the death of Baltimore Orioles pitcher Steve Beschler in 2003. This is when this thing was popular when I was taking it. And it was banned in the US in 2004 due to safety concerns. So, look, this is my first experience with supplement. It wasn't great. It didn't stop me from going all in on supplements over the years. And I also think it's a really good illustration of how my brother took it and he was fine. I took it and I was not fine. And that's the weirdest thing about things, is that we aren't all the same. And so it's very easy to discount a person who's experiencing something that you're not experiencing or that most people don't experience. So I had an indication early on that I'm more sensitive to things. And this has continued on throughout my life. I haven't taken hormone therapy. I have experimented a little bit with progesterone. It did not go well for me. And I know that I really don't want to take estrogen. I used the Nuva ring for birth control for a very short time. It lit my entire body on fire. This is a ring that's supposed to go around your cervix, and it went all the way up to my brain, and it was terrible, and down to my toes. So I'm just telling you that I'm an unusually sensitive person. As I became more and more health conscious, and as a result, more and more health anxious, I began taking more and more supplements, and they became like a security blanket for me. And when this became really noticeable was in my 40s when I was going through perimenopause. And I remember coming home and staying with my dad, and he would always let me stay in his room. He would make me stay in his room, and he would stay in the spare room. It was our thing. He just made me do it. He wouldn't have it any other way. And so I'd be unpacking my stuff. And I remember one time he was looking at me and he just said, I can't be good for you. I was unpacking all my bottles of supplements. And I was taking a lot of supplements. And I think that was at the time in perimenopause when I was trying to feel better. And I had been to a naturopath and she'd probably prescribed me some stuff. And then I was doing a lot of like health and wellness coverage. And I was just like picking up things that I thought would be good. And I remember in 2019, we went on a family vacation to the East Coast, and I was flying back from Abu Dhabi, and I was looking at all my supplements and I thought, I just want to not take them. I'm not taking them with me. Let's just see what it's like. Clearly I needed some of them because I didn't sleep that entire freaking vacation. It was horrible. And definitely, I believe I need to take magnesium. But more recently, I've had a couple of experiences that have just got me thinking about the way I take supplements. My father passed away a year ago and a bit, and I have had it's been a very hard time. And I started this job. I'm still doing hot flash. I've been burning the candle while also being at a low ebb energy wise. And last year I did a workshop at Google, which was really cool, but it drained me. It was a 2-hour workshop. It took a lot of time to prepare. I felt very on a stage. I wanted them to enjoy it. I had a lunch after with the lady who organized it for me at Google Dubai. And then I was exhausted when I left there. I was just depleted. And I had booked like an energy treatment sort of massage thing at a wellness center in Dubai. And this is a side, but I was walking through the wellness center looking at all the cool things they had there. I love those stores. Less now, but I love them. And the owner was on the phone leaving WhatsApp messages for some of her staff, or maybe just one of her staff. The most wretched messages. If you ever got these messages, you would just want to throw up if your boss was leaving you these messages. And I was laughing because I'm walking through these crystals and all this incense and all these beads, and she's love and light, and she's just being wretched. What the heck? It's really a funny thing. And I had talked to her before, and she's like, we should collaborate. And I'm like, I'm not collaborating with you. You're really mean. You are not a real spiritual person. There's a lot of people like that in the world. Anyway, they had their own line of tinctures. And I was looking at them all and I'm like, this is really cool. Maybe I'll get valerian. And then I saw maca and I saw that it gave you energy. And I was exhausted from this Google workshop. So I took the maca. I bought it. It's not cheap. And I tell everyone, when you take a new supplement, keep a journal and describe how you feel, because it's very hard to put two and two together and to know what's what. And some of us are taking so many supplements, we don't even know what's going on. I didn't do that. I just started taking the maca, thinking this is going to be the answer to all my energy problems, rather than just going home and having a chill night because I'd had a big day. I traveled from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. I'd spent 2 hours talking. I'd had this energy treatment. You get my drift. I proceeded to have a very uncomfortable couple of weeks. There were nights I did not sleep. I had major digestive issues. I was very grouchy, depressed, and anxious. And I was just not right for about 2 weeks. Then, more than a year after I had my last period, I had some pronounced spotting for 24 hours. So I started to lose my mind because I have health anxiety. And I was like, oh, great, I have uterine cancer. This is how it's going to end for me, with the uterine cancer. Luckily, I have a good friend, because when you're worried, you can't sort of figure this stuff out for yourself. So she found some research that backed up what we both thought with our research, which is that maca has the ability to influence hormone levels. It doesn't contain estrogen, but it can actually have an estrogenic effect. And some studies have shown that maca can directly influence estradiol levels in some individuals, particularly in early postmenopausal women, potentially increasing overall E2 levels while reducing luteinizing hormone levels. They have phytosterols, or plant sterols, which are structurally related to steroid hormones like estrogen and testosterone. It's not considered a supplement. It's not considered a substitute for hormone therapy, but I was taking it to the point that I had bleeding. And I felt awful on it. I'm going to sound really woo when I say this, but I have these Chinese energetics treatments with this fellow Marshall. And I was telling him about this. I said, I'm really recovering because it's like I loaded my body with this plant that made me all estrogenic and it was not good. And he said, why did you take it? And I said, I was really tired. And he said, why didn't you rest? And I said, I don't know. I really don't know. And it was a really profound thing. And it got me thinking about how I grab things when things aren't going well that I think will help me. And the last couple of months have been hard again. I had a financial situation, I had a work situation, they dovetailed, and it just really made me feel crunched and squeezed and not good about myself and very low. And so I had a DNA test with my doctor, Dr. Sophie. She said, this is a once in a lifetime test. We'll just look at your genetic variations and see how you are. And we got the results of that. And I will talk about that too. I have some genetic variations that impact my ability to methylate. So she prescribed me some nutraceuticals, she calls them, some supplements. And we rejigged. While I was ordering the supplements, realized I was very tired and I felt really low. And the whole reason I have this doctor in the first place is that I was in my early 50s. My health really blew apart after having decades of IBS. And then I developed leaky gut, fatty liver, Hashimoto's, low thyroid, and I just generally was very unwell. And Dr. Sophie really brought me back to life. And she has a regime, there's no medication in it. But at some point, perhaps when I was corresponding with a company, I found out about desiccated thyroid. And this is my own ignorance, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll take a little bit of that just to bump up my thyroid. First of all, that's not really how it works. It's a medication. And the whole goal of working with Dr. Sophie is that we would get my thyroid working better in the way that it was supposed to support it. So only once or twice did I get a bottle of this, a smaller dose. Desiccated thyroid it's a hormone replacement therapy, and you get it from dried and powdered animal thyroid glands, usually from a pig. It contains both T4 and T3, the main thyroid hormones, and the standard dose is 30 milligrams. So that's what I took before, and I thought I felt better on it. I was taking hormone therapy without being 30 milligrams orally per day. I was taking hormone therapy without being prescribed it, and I don't know what I was doing, but I did that and it was okay. So when I ordered this round of supplements post DNA test, I thought, I'm not feeling well. I'm going to get some of that desiccated thyroid. This was in May. I started feeling absolutely wretched. Me in the way that I just barrel through life. I was like, what is going on? What are some of these supplements? I didn't think it was the thyroid because I took it before and I felt fine. And I thought, what are like B vitamins making me feel like this? Like, what is going on here? And I went on for a month. Like, I took this thyroid on and off. I took it for 19 days. First of all, you're not supposed to take it on and off. Anywho, tight chest. I had a terrible headache for 10 days straight. I had a terrible headache, wretched neck pain. I developed ringing in my ears. Couple nights I didn't sleep. This is just sounding familiar. Is it sounding familiar? So one day at work, I just decided that I'd had enough, and I'd had a headache for so long. I was sure I had a brain tumor. And Abu Dhabi's healthcare is really interesting. Like, you can book an appointment with a specialist yourself. So I just booked an appointment with the specialist at the hospital I go to. I was at a neurologist a couple of hours later. He took my blood pressure, which was 164 over high 90s. That is not good. This neurologist, he didn't think there was anything wrong with me. You could tell. He thought I was just stressed out, but he said, you have stage 2 hypertension. I was like, this makes no sense. My blood pressure was fine 2 months ago. I know I've been under stress. I don't know what's going on. I had a cardio workup 18 months ago. I was perfectly healthy. What is going on? I got super scared. They got me to buy a blood pressure machine. I continued to feel terrible. My blood pressure was going all over the place. I didn't understand. I was doing things to calm down. I was really struggling. And then one day I woke up feeling pretty good. And I took my supplements and I went for a walk in the park, and I started feeling absolutely god awful. And I thought, this is crazy. It's definitely those supplements. So I went through them. I was looking at them all. I looked at the thyroid, desiccated thyroid. It was 150 milligrams that I had ordered. And I have no idea how that happened. I didn't look at the thing. I don't have great eyesight. I was taking 5 times the dose. So I immediately started asking all sorts of questions and researching. And this is definitely could happen from that. And so I just tapered it a little bit. I went to see my doctor that weekend because she was concerned about my blood pressure, but I told her, and she's so sweet. She's like, why did you do that? And I told her, and she was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with your heart. We'll fix it. And already my blood pressure is down. I'm feeling much better. The headache's almost gone. The ringing in my ears is still there. As if I didn't have enough going on, I took a thyroid hormone overdose. And she did say, Marie, you've done this before. Like, maybe this is the time to wonder why you do this. Like, just rest. And I also don't take my own advice. Like, I tell you guys and I tell people on social media, keep a journal of how you feel. And I did it. And it went on for longer than 2 weeks. I was just shoving this blast of thyroid hormone down my throat and thinking, why do I feel so bad? And as this has been happening, of course, I've been talking to my friends about it. And at first I thought, this is it. I've got stage 2 hypertension. But my friends are also, I feel like, really waking up to, I'm taking too many supplements. I don't know what they're doing. I know food is the way to go. And my best friend's a barometer for that, and another really good friend. And we're all cutting down on the amount of supplements we take. It's like a habit. It's a habit. It's a false sense of security. Sometimes we don't even know why we're taking these supplements. It's very expensive. And I think the most important thing that's happening, and I'm just not surprised that it's happening in my mid 50s as we're finally growing up, is that it is me thinking there's something wrong with me and that there's something external that I can take to fix it, rather than stopping and saying, Emery, what is going on with you and what do you really need? Like, why am I ordering an expensive supplement to be delivered? Why am I not just resting and not feeling guilty about it? Why am I not removing things from my life during this hard time? Why am I not doing things to regulate my nervous system? Why? I listened to a really good podcast this week by Kelly Brogan, who's a psychiatrist, a neuropsychiatrist in the US. She's controversial because she gets people off medication. She doesn't put anyone on, but she was talking about how we all walk around, or many people walk around with this notion that if something's wrong with me, I'll do something. I'll call the doctor, I'll get this, and I'll fix this symptom. If you can move to thinking that a symptom is a good thing, it's your body talking to you, it's your body saying something needs attention, then you won't just be grabbing at whatever you think can fix it, whatever is outside of you. If I hadn't done any of this, I've lost so much time feeling like shit over the last 5 weeks. If I had just gone to bed early, done yin yoga, done some somatic work, gone for long walks, I would have passed through it. Instead, I fell into a pit and dug it a little bit deeper. The reason I just want to talk about supplements is it's just they're everywhere. And I love the companies that I've worked with. They have integrity. They're using good ingredients. But like most of us are taking way, way too many of them. We can get a lot of this from food. There's a lot of fear out there that we can't get stuff from food, but we can get stuff from food. And I'm not recommending that you cold turkey your supplements like I did when I was going to the East Coast with my family. But I am saying, like, let's just slow down and stop and think about what it is we're putting in our body and how these things might be interacting. And if you're gagging on supplements and feeling sick from them, maybe it's too many. And finally, just accepting that maybe I need something else that only I can give me, which is care and attention and rest or fun, some self-understanding, read a book, draw a picture, just spend some time doing nothing, hang out with a friend. That's my supplement story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm really glad nothing bad happened from that Xenadrine. And I'm really glad nothing happened from my thyroid overdose. And I hope you don't think less of me because I'm such an idiot about my own health. And I talk so much about what to do with yours. I, like everyone, need to take my own advice more. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you tune in next week. Please send me a text or leave a comment if you have any questions or anything you want me to discuss. I've interviewed some really cool people and I've got some really cool things coming up, and I really want you to be part of it. Thank you for being here.
Information received through the podcast should not be used in place of a consultation or advice from a healthcare provider. If you suspect you have a medical problem, i.e. menopause or anything else, or any healthcare questions, please promptly see your healthcare provider. This podcast, including Anne-Marie McQueen and any producers or editors, disclaim any responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of any information contained herein. Opinions of guests on this podcast are their own, and the podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about a guest's qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. This podcast is owned by Hot Flash Inc. Media.